All right, guys, today we've got something that I've been talking about happening for a while, has just happened again. It is the unpersoning of someone from the financial system, a system that should not allow this sort of activity, in my humble opinion. And I am talking about General Michael Flynn having his bank accounts and credit cards frozen up by Chase Bank. Let's talk about what's going on. I'm Nick Rekieta of Rekieta Law, a small law firm in central Minnesota. I'm a lawyer. I'm also a legal and political commentator on YouTube and on Odyssey. Wherever you're watching, go ahead, hit like, hit subscribe, turn on those notifications. Make sure you don't miss any videos. We're covering all kinds of important topics, and this one is critically important. I can't stress this enough. Lots of people regard this as a one-off. It's not a one-off. This might be the first time you've heard of this specifically. But what happened here is that General Flynn apparently was banking with Chase Bank. He had bank accounts and credit cards, and Chase Bank has allegedly, now this is all according to General Flynn, he could be, I guess in theory, making it up, although I don't believe that is the case. It's possible. But they have shut down his credit cards and they have turned off his ability to bank with them, citing something called reputational risk. That is where they say that somehow it is a risk to Chase Bank's reputation to do business with the dastardly villain that is Michael Flynn. Let me translate that for you, because he is not the first person to have their bank account shut down due to reputational risk. He is only the latest victim. It says your politics, your opinions, your thoughts, your speech make the bank, who most people don't know you bank with, uncomfortable to serve you. Now, some people will say, oh, these are private companies and stuff like that. I'm sorry, there is actually a limit to the level of private that banks actually are. They are almost in no way a private company. They are regulated so heavily by the government that they're private in name only. And that regulation is something that is a two-way street. And one of the reasons that we should be concerned about this is that these banks operate in lieu of a national bank. I actually prefer a private banking system to a national banking system. That's my preference. I'm a big believer in the free market. However, we restrict banks in all sorts of ways. And for them to unperson someone, to determine that they don't get access to the monetary system, is a much bigger problem than anyone is making it out to be. The financial system should be devoid of concerns over political beliefs or speech or anything like that. Now, certainly, the financial system should not be compelled to assist in criminal activity. But Michael Flynn's political opinions are not criminal activity. They're just political opinions. They're just political speech. One of the things that we have held in this country to be the most sacred right above all others from the get-go is political opinion and political speech. I know it's very passé in 2021 to suggest that people should be able to espouse their political beliefs with impunity and merely be shouted down by better speech, rather than financial sanctions, for example, or jail time, for example, or violence, but that rather speech should prevail over speech rather than anything else. We have held that to be sacrosanct until the wokeness of the 21st century has washed that away, apparently. But what we have are companies and company politics weaponizing access to financial transactions against someone's political views. And that cannot be tolerated in free society. If you do not have the ability to transact money, then you do not have the ability to participate in Western society. And I know many of you are going to scream about Bitcoin and blockchain alternatives to this. I'm sorry, but those will not be allowed to function. They will be regulated into some level of wrangling by the US government because it would be too dangerous to leave them otherwise. And say what you will about the ability of the blockchain to be regulated, most people, and especially high-profile people, cannot participate in a system that is deemed illegal, even if it is possible to do so. And of course, I'm not saying that Bitcoin or anything like that is illegal now, just talking about a prospective future where speech is controlled by your bank account. And just realize that if you can't bank, you can't get the cash that you could carry to transact business. Most people would not be able to reliably store the amount of cash that they would be using on a regular basis. You would not have access to many of the modern accommodations that we're accustomed to in Western society, because paying bills by cash through the mail isn't something that is really done anymore. So, that being said, I wanted to bring this story to you because it's something I've talked about for so long. This is a risk. This is a massive risk, and we're at a critical juncture in the United States. And this should be a bipartisan issue, but there should be no possibility for a bank to unperson someone based on their political beliefs, their political speech, the reputational harm to the bank. That's not a real thing. No one's going, oh man, you know what? I would bank with Chase, except I heard that Michael Flynn banks there. That's not something that people do. That's not a reality. And typically speaking, the banks are not allowed to really comment due to privacy issues on what type of relationships they have with their clients. So when you combine all of these things, the reputational risk becomes a hollow sort of excuse for this manipulative and abusive behavior that they're engaging in. But again, if this is merely the first taste of this that you've seen, that Michael Flynn is the first victim, let me assure you he is not. The list of victims of this over the past couple years in particular is long, and these victims are getting more and more prominent. And if you've been watching this channel for a while, you know that I was warning about this ever since Trump lost the election, because this is the way. This is a much more effective way to start going after people than just about anything else. Because if you don't have access to the money supply, you don't have access to pay your lawyer. If you don't have access to the money supply, you don't have access to communications. You can't upload a YouTube video if you don't have a phone or an internet connection somewhere. And eventually it chokes you out of the system. And that is, of course, the goal. Choke people out of the system so that dissident speech, and remember guys, dissident speech of today is just having a more conservative opinion than someone else. But dissident speech will be stifled, and it will be done so in partnership with government and to the sound of uproarious applause from your political opponents. And their gambit on all of this is that they will squelch their competition so effectively that there will not be an effective competition in the future, and that one party rule will take over. Or I shouldn't even say one party, because it won't be about the party, but one brand of political ideology will be so dominant that they'll never have to worry about the guns, the proverbial guns, being turned back on them. And that's the end of the story on how this is supposed to play out. And if you have any doubts about that, make no mistake. Antifa's bank accounts, Black Lives Matter's bank accounts, these organizations, despite engaging in very much criminal activity, their bank accounts aren't being shut down. It's people who have the wrong political opinion and the wrong political voice. And by wrong, I merely mean to the right. Anyways, I don't know about you guys, but I'm not looking forward to our dystopian financial future. But I don't know. Tell me where I'm right. Tell me where I'm wrong. Drop it down below. Share this video with your friends. People have got to know. They've got to know Some of us have known this has been going on for years. We've been talking about it and warning about it, and every single time we do, every single time people say, oh, no, 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 this is just that. This is just, it's just this person. It's just this belief. It's just this time. It's not. It's not. Know that this is coming for us all. And until next time, thanks for watching, guys. Peace. Peace.